Great. Thank you all for sharing part of your Tuesday with me to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is Instagram. So Instagram is huge, as you know. I know a lot of you and your Instagram accounts, so I know you're using it effectively. But like a lot of things, it's always changing. And I'm just want to compliment you on taking some time to invest in yourself and your business, to learn, to grow. We have a lot of things to go through today. So I hope I address any of the questions that you came to this training session. We will have some time for Q&A, and I'm always happy to talk about Instagram, so feel free to reach out if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and start our presentation here. All righty. And from current slides. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Susan Davis. I am part of SHD Marketing, which is a full service marketing agency located in Norwell, serving many customers throughout the South Shore, but also nationwide. We do everything from branding to social media marketing, like what we're talking about today. We also design websites and a host of other things. So if you have any marketing needs or have any colleagues that do, we hope you'll consider SHD Marketing. I have a team of wonderful people that I get to rely on every day, and their talents serve all of our clients, many of whom are on today's call, so they know all about how great these people are. We look forward to working with others that we haven't yet. So before we get started, pop quiz, I want you to throw in the chat what your current comfort level is with Instagram. So I'm going to stop sharing right now just so I can peek. And I'm going to ask everybody to throw in the chat right now where you are and your comfort level with Instagram. Okay, I see 5, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that 9 is Stephanie on my team, so she's cheating a little bit. Okay, 8, Jenny. Yep, I believe it. She just changed it to a 6. Okay, so there's a range, and obviously this is self-reported too. So we know that we come to the table with varying knowledge and background. So, regardless, even if we're experts, we always need to train and educate ourselves. So my goal is that you move the needle on your own comfort level with Instagram. You get some creative ideas from today's conversation, and that you feel a little bit more comfortable about how you can best support your own marketing efforts on Instagram. I see Donna says she's an 8 only because she took this course last year. Thank you, Donna. We'll get you to a 9 or a 10 soon. So we're going to jump right in. The things that I wanted to cover today, or actually first we'll talk about why Instagram matters. So as you can see, 1.4 billion users are anticipated by the end of 2024 on Instagram. So we know there's a lot of social media channels out there. Instagram isn't the only one, but it's a critical one. 90% of our Instagram users follow a brand. We know that over half of users end up purchasing a product or a service after seeing it on Instagram. And we know marketers are using it. So if you're a business owner and you are your own marketer, that's why you know today that Instagram is really critical and an important part of your social media and marketing priorities. So these are the things we're going to cover. There's a lot. So buckle up, take some notes. We're going to first talk about optimizing your Instagram bio, your profile.
Someone will be right with you.
And then we're going to talk about Instagram content types. There's a lot of different choices you have when you post to Instagram. So I'm going to walk you through what those are just to level set in case you're not familiar with all of the options. I'm going to fly through a few tips and tricks that are just important for all of your posts. And then I'm going to talk about some of the biggest trends we're seeing here. We're about to wrap up the first quarter of 2024, and there's some really key trends that I want you to be aware of so you can leverage them for the remainder of the year. year and beyond. Give you some tools on how to stay consistent, because we know with everything, we've got a lot of priorities. And so it's hard to maintain that steady drumbeat to be consistent, which you know that your followers will appreciate. So there's some tools and tips that I'm going to share with you then. And then I'm going to round it out with a few of the newest features Instagram rolled out, in case there's any that you are ready to explore and try out. Does that sound good? All right. So we're going to start with your profile. So this is really critical because it's almost like a mini website. So this is one of our clients, Proving Ground Studio, is a local gym in Quincy and Hall. And I just wanted to walk you through their profile because they are very well positioned for the growth that they're experiencing. And so we, of course, with your bio, we have your bio pic. So you might choose for that to be a professional image of you if you are, a business owner, of course, or it could be your logo. Recommend using something very distinctive as part of your brand. So that is the image, the profile photo here. Okay. And then if we move to the right, we see at the top, that is their handle. Okay, Proving Ground Studio. But when you move down here for the actual bio, you have an opportunity to list your full company name and a description. So functional fitness training is those are actually key words that we intentionally added to their name so that if somebody's seeking that information, and we'll talk about search engine optimization within Instagram, they are more likely to find Proving Ground versus some of their competitors. So adding a nice description to your actual display name is one of our recommendations. You can then choose the page category. So I recommend taking a look at that. Sometimes people don't realize when they set up the account, they chose something that might not be as relevant to what your business is today. So make sure that the page category you select is appropriate. And then we have 150 characters. So I usually write these within Word, where you can actually count the number of characters within it to help to maximize the keywords and the explanation while also staying within it. I see Donna just asked, does page category hinder the use of music? So I believe the best way through that is to be a creator on Instagram, and that will allow you to access more of Instagram's features. So irrelevant to the page category, but you do want to be a creator that will ensure that you are best positioned within Instagram. So back to the page description, or the profile description, you can see we made this actionable while also including keywords and useful information for the user to understand what Proving Ground is all about. Join us for the ultimate fitness experience. We are #Stronger Together. So that's their unique hashtag that they use for all of their posts. So that's included there as well. And then you'll see a description of the types of trainings they do, as well as the locations and external links, which you can include multiple. So sometimes that link is to a service like Linktree that allows you to have multiple options for a follower to travel to, either, register for a course, visit your website, sign up for a consultation, something like that. On my account, if you go to shdmarketing.com, you'll see that when you press learn more, it goes to actually a hidden page on my own website where we've mimicked that design to allow people to choose what they want to explore. Maybe it's a new feature, our new website we featured that we recently launched. Maybe it's registering for an event like this. I didn't want to drive people to Linktree. I wanted to drive them to my own website. So you could do something like that if you want to check it out as well. So those are really the, core components of your Instagram bio. So you'll also see there's some beautiful branded highlights here, which serve as a slideshow based on the topic. You add to these, you can add the pretty cover image like we have here that's consistent with their logo. And you can add, anytime you have a story, you can add it to the appropriate highlight and it just lives there. So if somebody's coming to your profile account, they can explore that. If you sell products, box. You might have it organized based on that or based on the benefits of what your products provide your users or prospects. Okay, again, if people have questions, you are welcome to ask via the chat or by unmuting yourself and jumping in. Because we have a lot to cover, I'm going to keep going. So here we have Instagram content types. So there are 5 different types of content that you can load to Instagram. We have photo posts, stories, reels, carousel posts, and live videos. So we're going to go through this. First, a photo post would be an image. So we always recommend humans respond to humans. So this beautiful, engaging photo of Kaizen's female leadership team is going to perform a lot better than if it were a, text on paper. Kudos to women. It probably wouldn't perform as well as, seeing their, beautiful smiles there ready to greet you. So that is a photo post. It could be text-based graphic, something you create in Canva, or it could be an image like what you see Rachel did here. We also have reels. So reels are short, entertaining videos set to music that can be up to 90 seconds long, or up to 15 minutes if you upload it to Instagram. So this is a really fun way. This, you can see, if you haven't heard of the Girl Gang Association, this is all of us celebrating because a new member joined, dancing around, having a lot of fun. So reels are really critical. We're going to be talking about them a lot today. Okay, I just want you to know that this is one of the types of posts. We also have carousel posts. So this is when you can scroll through multiple image within a set. So this is Untold Brewery as an example. You can see there's a few different images that are all part of the same post and story. And then we have stories. So these live for 24 hours on your profile. So this is one I happened to post yesterday. You can have fun with it. You can be a little bit more whimsical, as I was. Literally everybody's actually working in the background and I'm just like taking a fun picture because I just love when the whole team gets together. It's like my, favorite time of the week, literally. So you can show behind the scenes, etc. So, you can, and if you can have multiple that you can scroll through, as you can see right here. Those are 3 in this screen capture. So stories are a great way to be fun and playful, and for your followers. Only your followers will see them. And then there's also live videos. So this allows you to broadcast in real time. Your followers are notified to join you so they can engage with you, and then you can save the video and post it as a reel as well. Okay. So now that we've covered the types, I'm going to go through just, kind of like an Instagram 101 tips and tricks, just things that I want to make sure you're thinking about when you're posting, regardless of the post type. So the first one is creating a captivating, caption. So here's a post for the Mad Love Music Festival, which is an annual fundraising event it's a daytime rock concert. It's a blast, family friendly, in October. So here's an example of an engaging caption where, asking which bands do you want to see in this year's lineup. People love making recommendations. They love giving a shout out to their favorite, bands in this case. But even if you were to turn this into any topic, maybe, it's something within your space. Maybe for, if you create hand painted signs, for example, it might be, what is the spring phrase you want to see on a sign, or, what's the summer phrase that you're looking for to have on your front door this summer. And then getting local. So as you can tell, here's an example of the Fermentory, a Hanover tap room. They have, not only in this post where they were featured in the Patriot Ledger, indicated that they are at the Fermentory Tap Room, a physical location in Hanover, but they also shared the location within their hashtag. So if you are tied to a physical area, you're at an event, something like that, I encourage you to draw inspiration from that. So indicating the location in the post settings, and then also updating your hashtags to reflect the location as well. So the purpose of that is because many people search by location. And so that will allow, if you have those tags within your post, that will allow you to be served up when they're searching by location. and then adding hashtags for reach. So here's an example. This is Local Catch 143, a Scituate nonprofit focused on raising awareness about the need to eat local, even when it comes to fish. So, farm to table, boat to table concept, and supporting local fishermen. So adding hashtags for reach. So you can tell that, there's some hashtags here indicated around, Cohasset, the surrounding communities, and then also some of the, key messages as part of this rather engaging and fascinating image here with very large fish. I don't know what kind, but it's probably yummy, I guess. Funny to think. So there might be some hashtag trends as well. And so if you're able to monitor that, it can give you the opportunity to use them to get in front of some more eyeballs. And then, of course, as a marketer, I always care about your brand and want you to ensure that everything you do, whether it's on your website or Facebook or Instagram or within a blog, you're staying consistent with your brand values, your brand message, and your brand aesthetic. So gone are the days where your Instagram feed, like mine right here, needs to be super curated. It doesn't need to be like just so perfect, but we do want it to have a really consistent visual style and to feel like one company when we're exploring it. You can tell by looking at my feed that blues are part of my brand. You can see that, not every post has an SHD logo on it, but it is included in some places. So it's kind of peppered throughout. So just want to make sure that, if you have a very strong brand kind of vibe, like sometimes people even have a specific color or filter or theme that they use consistently, you're being intentional about that and ensuring that, that is applied to your Instagram account as well. And then engaging. So when we think about what we're talking about with Instagram, we're talking about social media. And by social, we mean interactive. So this isn't a place to just go and look like a voyeur. This isn't a place to just post and let people praise you. This is a place to start conversations, to continue relationships, to establish connections. And so it's always good to remind ourselves of that, because that's what people want from you when they are your, target audience or your prospect or your lead. They want to hear more of your story and they want an opportunity to form that connection. I'm sure we can all think about a time where we've met somebody in real life and felt like we knew them because we follow each other on Instagram, only to realize you've never met, but you still have that relationship established. It can be a powerful networking tool, but it does mean that we have to engage. So that means responding to comments and doing it promptly and doing it in a meaningful way. Like, I know a lot of people like leaning on emojis in order to respond and react to something, but I encourage you to always respond with a 3-word phrase or more words, 3 or more words to, again, make it feel really personalized and authentic, because these are the connections you're spending all this time doing Instagram for. It's to start the conversation. So when somebody does it, take it and run with it. Don't leave it on the table. And then creating links in posts can be really powerful. So if it's to a registration, like the example for those of you that registered via this post, or maybe it's to a specific product, integrating those links within Instagram simply makes it more user-friendly for your prospect to do the thing you want them to do, to engage, to buy, to connect, to register. And anytime we can make it easier for them to do something, the more likely they will do it. So ensure you're using links whenever you can. And then, like anything, if we're not measuring or tracking, then how do we know how we're performing? So Instagram is fantastic in that you don't need to buy any fancy software. There are insights and data right within your Instagram app that you can review and poke around with. You could get really detailed and do a deep dive, or you can just kind of look at the big metrics like what you're seeing here, accounts reached, maybe what types of, posts are getting, what types of reactions. I would consider making a commitment now on how frequently you will track this. Maybe it's monthly, maybe it's quarterly. Think about 3 to 5 metrics that you can, you feel confident, you can identify, you can find where it is, and you can keep an eye on it. Number of followers is a good one, and then reach. And then you can dive deeper even about your like demographic. So maybe there's a metric around engagement. How are people interacting with your content that you want to track? So you're always performing or improving. And many cases we learn when we look at insights. We can see, okay, my reels aren't as engaging as they were 3 months ago. Why is that? Oh, I see. I did a collaboration with another account and that was really fun. Or, I kind of was too scared to get in front of the camera. And so that showed in my analysis. So you can get to your insights simply from your Instagram account. So if you have any trouble doing that, let me know. But if we don't measure and track, then we really can't know that this is a tool that's working well for us and identify ways we can be improving. So I'm going to segue into some of the biggest trends we're seeing in 24. Are there any questions before I do so?
Susan, I just have a quick question. How do you track that? What you were just showing on the last, yeah, is that something you can simply explain, or should I ask you later?
No, that's a great question because, if you have the question, other people probably do too. So what you'll want to do is if you open your Instagram app, so feel free to do that right now if you want. So I opened up my app and then I go to the 3 bars, like hamburger menu bar on the right. And then I scroll down. If I'm a professional account, it says insights, and it has a little bar chart. I'm sorry if it's hard to read that or if the glare's affecting it. And from there, I can see all the data. So I can look at accounts reached, accounts engaged, total followers. I can change the time period if I want to look at the last 7 days, 30 days, somewhere in between. Okay, and you can kind of dive down. So I would, next time you have a little bit of time, you're waiting in line or something, poke around with that, jot down some numbers, maybe start with just 3 or 5 metrics that you're going to regularly monitor and track. Sometimes if we get excited and we want to do it all, and that's just not sustainable. So that's why, I mean, if you can do it all, that's great. But even just starting small as a way to just keep yourself tied to, a commitment. Maybe you set a goal each quarter. Maybe you set a goal for the year that you want to grow to X number of followers, or you're going to have this many interactions on Instagram. Setting a goal is always a powerful way to hold ourselves accountable as well. Were you able to find it, Sarah?
I did, and I wonder if it's just because I don't have it set up as a business. Would that be why?
Yes. Okay. Yes, that is why. So I would set it up as a business.
Now, I have mine set up as public. So
that's good. Yep. Okay. And it should be business and public. Yep. We did actually, I was working with somebody recently, I can't remember who, and didn't realize that their account wasn't public and it was set as private. So that's great that it's public. These are all good things to check because sometimes we set up something when we're launching a business and managing a lot. And it's good to kind of look at your bio, look at your account settings to make sure you're positioned well and all the settings are appropriate for what your goals are.
Okay, so you can do both. You can set up as business and then have as public.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And I recommend both.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Okay, so some top
Susan, sorry, it's Sarah McKenzie here, and forgive me, my video's not on, but I do have a question. I don't understand how you choose hashtags. Like, what hashtags do you put? It doesn't make sense to me.
Absolutely. So think of hashtags as keywords that you're tagging the post with. So those that are searching for the post will be better able to find it. So this is similar if you are a blogger and you add tags to the blog. So if I was doing a blog on email marketing and my example was on maybe a diversity and inclusion consulting firm, then I would have tags on it around DEI. I would have tags on it around email marketing. So then if somebody was searching my blogs, they would be able to find it. So in the Instagram space, we use hashtags in order to give labels to our post so people can then find it. So it's purely to help people find the content.
And so you, the poster, are creating these hashtags with keywords. They aren't hashtags that are related to other people out there in the same forum. Like it's not a hashtag from somebody else's business that you're attaching to yours.
Right. So what you want to do is make your hashtags appropriate and consistent and authentic to your post. You don't want Sarah, who is a Feng Shui interior designer, doesn't want to have a bunch of hashtags on email marketing and Instagram training like mine might. She wants to have them on her specific topic. So you can seek inspiration. You can find what hashtags are trending. You can you can use hashtag generators that are out there in the World Wide Web to give yourself some ideas. But you'll want to make sure it's always custom to that specific post. And it could have one hashtag, it could have 3, it could have the limit is 30. I recommend you use varying amounts for your post just for a variety. And so it doesn't seem too cookie cutter.
But ultimately, I'm creating these hashtags.
Yes.
And so with keywords that match the post and my business and the overall message and everything.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, take a look at some of the ones on mine and you'll see how they vary. They might say the location, like the examples we saw. I think some of the other people on this email maybe try Citrus Daisy as well to see what they're using too. That might help.
Thank you.
Of course, good question. Okay, so some of the top trends we're seeing, so Reels. So we talked about video being really critical and Reels is part of that. And then static posts still matter. They're not going away. We know that AI is affecting everything, also Instagram. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We were just talking about how hashtags can be used to search on Instagram. Keywords like what we talked about with the bio can also be used to search on Instagram. SEO stands for search engine optimization. So that really speaks to when you go to Google and you start looking for something, or let's maybe say your target audience goes to Google looking for your services. What are the keywords they use? Is it, eco-friendly green products? Is it, a specific service, legal firms near me? What are those keywords? And so on the website SEO side, we think a lot about that. But on Instagram, it's also important. So that's one of the new trends we want to cover with you. Food content, really popular still. And then boosting content. So this is around paying for, your post to get in front of more eyeballs. And then my favorite topic always is collaborations. So these are the biggest trends we're seeing that I think will be most relevant to all of you. We'll first talk about video.
Sorry,
so
Susan.
Yep.
Jenny, so are you going to go into some of these? Is that what you're breaking down, or?
Yep. So this is the first one
Okay,
around
perfect.
videos.
I'll ask my question until you get to what
Yeah,
I wanted
perfect.
to ask about boosts. So when you get to that question.
Awesome. So yes, so Instagram continues to prioritize video, specifically Reels. So they're adding a lot of features to encourage videos contributors. Okay, so here at the bottom is Adam Mosseri, who's the head of Instagram, and said all videos will become Reels. And ever since he said that, they've doubled down on video and driving us to generate video to be an engaging form of connecting with others. So you can now reply to a reel with another reel. You can add new effects, voiceovers, etc. You can upload videos with no cuts. You can host interactive live streams. So This is just the start. There's going to be more video features that Instagram brings to us. Just know that these are some of the newest ones. And, you know, really, this isn't creating video and making video as part of your Instagram strategy isn't just for like the big brands or the influencers out there. It's for all of us. No matter how big or small your brand is, video needs to be a big part of that. Now, I hear from every single brand I work with, I don't like to be on video. And my job is to push people out of their comfort zone respectfully. However, I just say you don't have to watch it. You have to do it, but you don't have to watch it. If you don't like seeing yourself, that's your choice. Don't watch. But really, it's not as scary as you might think. You don't have to be in every single video. It can be video stuff, but you do need to show up. And I know of many of the people on today's call who I am so impressed with, because a year ago, they probably wouldn't imagine that they are popping on, doing videos, telling stories all the time, and likely seeing tremendous growth from that. So, you know, this is a critical area. It's not just a nice to have, it's essential. So start, you know, getting yourself prepared for that. Everybody feels the same way, but you just have to push yourself out there. It's one of those uncomfortable spaces that we need to grow into as business owners and as people. So you might even like it. Now, static posts still matter. So up to 30%, and you explore this with your own feed, okay? When next time you open Instagram, think about how much of the content that you're being served up by the algorithm is a video and how much is static posts. So it's likely around 25 to 30% that you're still getting. Now, these are, you know, text-based posts. These might be carousels or photo dumps, so a bunch collection of images all on one topic. This might be a great way to share, you know, soft launch or tease a product or announce something. So don't take your eye off the, you know, ball with static posts as well. We talked about artificial intelligence. So we all know Instagram is owned by Meta, and they also own Facebook. They are a technology company, so you can imagine, like all technology companies and even non-technology companies now, they're investing heavily in AI. So they're creating AI features for creators to leverage. So this right today includes AI generated stickers, there's chat, there's backdrops, and then at the end of last year, Mark Zuckerberg announced through Meta's Emu AI, that's the name of their AI module. They are launching image editing, like the example right here is a photo of a dog, and through AI, turn the dog into a panda. No more directions were made. Clearly, that is a panda looking dog and super cute. Beside the point, it's using very simple directions to do something very complicated and sophisticated. We're also seeing that with they're going to roll it out with high quality video generation. So, you know, super exciting to think that you will be able to make a lot more great videos and images right within Instagram instead of maybe through another editing software and then loading to Instagram. So that is their play. They want you to be doing more of the creating within Instagram, serving up these useful tools for that. So keep an eye out for those coming in the near future. Okay, so we talked a little bit about this already. SEO isn't just for Google. So people are searching Instagram for services, products, where to take a trip, etc. So you should be including an Instagram SEO strategy. So think about what your keywords are. If you have a website, you can find your keywords by looking at the Google search keywords if it's connected to your website. So this tells us what keywords people are using to find you. Think about this also in terms of your target audience's words. This is the words they might use, not necessarily the words you might use. You might know that your product is called X, but they might be calling it this because they're not yet educated around the nuances of that. So always think about that when you're identifying your keywords. So you'll want to optimize subtitles and captions, engaging with others within your niche. I see Donna's doing some research already, looking to see how she's showing up when she searches Instagram. And you'll want to also monitor trending topics and hashtags to be able to, integrate those if they're tied to your specific niche as well. Now, anytime I talk about SEO and creating content to support an algorithm or a search engine, I want to remind us all that we create content to be useful for people, not just computers. So we never want to do something that makes it clunky for the user because we're trying to, get higher search rankings. It always has to be both. You need to make the user experience really fluid. Nobody should ever see anything you do on Instagram or your website that is just like SEO or SEO, excuse me, loading. You really want to make it relevant and integrated. You see the statistic here around Gen Z and millennials, obviously a huge part of the population, and 30% today, this will continue to grow, are going to social media instead of Google to search something. So that might not be your purchase behavior. So it's always helpful to know how other people are behaving. So food content has always been a huge trend within Instagram. And believe it or not, it still makes the top 7 list of trends right now. So we talked about how big Gen Z is. They are adventurous. They're exploring new products. They're looking for inspiration. We know there's a huge wellness and mindful eating and health, trend going on. And I want you to know that food content isn't just for people who might be a food manufacturer or a chef or a nutritionist. It's really for any adjacent industry. I love this example because it's IKEA. And while they do have delicious food at some of their locations, they're not necessarily a, food provider. They sell kitchens, they sell bowls, etc. But clearly identifying this whole like food porn thing as, something that they want to make sure they're capitalizing on. They're creating inspiration. So think about, if there is anything that segues into your offering that would be appropriate in the food category. And if you are a restaurant or a chef, this is a huge opportunity. And there's a lot of people have found great success. If you're not already capitalizing on it, then something to consider with your social media strategy.
Hi. They left.
Whoops. I'm just gonna mute you. Marcy. Okay, so Jenny, this is the slide you wanted to talk about. This is around paid promotion. So everything we've been talking about so far is organic. So that is just content you create that you might pay somebody to create it, but you're posting it without paying for, it to get in front of new eyeballs. So we know Instagram is growing. We know the algorithm continues to work to serve up appropriate content to users. And many brands are seeing a decline in reach, which leads them to rely on paid promotions. So paid promotions kind of fall into 2 buckets. One is boosting a post you've already shared. And 2 is creating an ad within Meta, and you can indicate whether you want that ad to go on Facebook, Instagram, or one or the other. You can clearly define the action you want people to take. You can define the demographics you want this to be served up to, and you can create all sorts of different graphic options based on where it is served up to your target audience, such as a story or a post or a Facebook banner. There's all different size formats that you'll want to load it as, so you show up beautifully and your ad is effective no matter where you are reaching your prospects. Jenny, did you have a question you wanted to ask here?
I did. So I've tried to boost a few things, but if you use is there a trick when you use any music? You can't. And so literally the only boost that I can do is if I'm speaking, which is annoying. I would rather use some of the other stuff I do. Is that just the rules, or how do you get around that? Or what is, because there's a few times like I've wanted to boost kind of when I do my quick painting, like daily meditations, but I can't. And
Okay.
I think that would be really powerful, but I have yet to figure out how to do it without music.
Great question. I'll let Stephanie throw a response in the chat. I imagine it just has to do with copywriting. So, what it depends on the music that you've used. And so I don't know if there are like tags on music that would be safe to use. My experience has been that the music rights tend to change. Like I've gone to post something and then that is no longer an option, that music option. So, you might need to choose much more generic music options if you plan to make that a paid promotion.
Yeah. Oh, I know that's why, because it won't. I was just curious is there a way to find the stuff that would be able to be used? Like, I don't really care. I'm open. I just pick things. I just haven't figured out a way to see like what is not able to be used and what is free to kind of attach and boost.
Yeah, good question. We'll get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Okay, let me just see. Oh, okay, so Stephanie's chimed in, boosting posts, you can't attach music. It has to be original audio. So.
All right, I'll get PD to start playing some piano for me.
I was just about to say the same thing. Dust off the banjo and the recorder.
Well, not me. I got to find some other human that I can paint. I can't play music. All right, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Have to upload it with her own.
Okay, got it. So Stephanie also suggested you add music within Canva. So you're uploading it versus using the Reels or the Instagram provided music. So that's another option. So you can use generic music. You don't have to generate the music yourself. You just need to pair it with the ad with using Canva or another tool like that and upload it yourself.
Okay, I'll add it to my list of things I need to learn.
Sorry, I'm supposed to shrink that list today.
No, it's all right. I feel young learning these new things. Thank you.
Oh, good. Okay, so this is one of my favorite topics. You guys can tell I love a good collaboration. So this is super cool, which Instagram has rolled out, and many of you maybe have participated in this before. So this allows Instagram collaborations, allows you to tag somebody as a collaborator on a post. And if they accept it, it shows up in their feed as well. So it's one post. Any comments show up in both people's feed. So here's an example of a conference taking place the end of May for female entrepreneurs and dreamers. And it's a Girl Gang Association is a collaboration between SHD Marketing and Hale Bone Broth. Melissa and I founded it. Many of you are members of it. And so we made this post announcing the conference, a collaboration post between SHD Marketing, Hale Bone Broth, and the Girl Gang Association's account so that we would get it on all three. Okay, so you do have to add it as a collaborator and then the person has to accept it. But it's a wonderful tool that allows you to cross promote. It's a great way to increase engagement, to get in front of new eyeballs. It simplifies posting. So we love doing this as a giveaway for clients. Sometimes, we'll have groups connect where, maybe it's something like, Sarah McKenzie's offering an hour of Feng Shui interior design consulting that she's giving away along with like a sign from Citrus Daisy. Sarah Anderson donates a beautiful package of her Green Compass products. And this one giveaway is posted on all three of their accounts. People comment, nominate people to win it, etc. And then they're able to, work together on it versus, having to have one post and who's tracking and who's doing what. And it's a great way to ensure a lot of that cross collaboration across different accounts. I think there's a limit of around 6 collaborators per post, but it's a great tool if you haven't used it already. Okay. Any questions on some of the biggest trends we're seeing on Instagram?
Susan, I had a quick question.
Yeah.
Going back to AI, my daughters would be the first to tell me, come on, boomer, get with it. So is there a good, like the other day I was trying to mess around with it a little bit and I was like, oh, I don't have time for this. So is there a good central idea of how to kind of self-teach some of these topics?
It's a great question. So specifically around AI, I'd love to just share my perspective on it because there's a lot of great tools around AI tools around marketing, like having it like write content for you, etc. It's great for writer's block, right? You can give it some direction and then it can give you some content. I just strongly encourage you, of course, to review everything in great detail and treat it as like the first stepping stone to then making the content accurate, unique, etc. So that would be the most obvious application of it. But in terms of additional tools, I mean, I don't have like a specific resource to recommend other than, the Google gods, right? Just poking around. There's a lot of really big companies that work within the AI or the social media, the marketing spaces who have a lot of educational resources. So, sometimes it's the schedulers like Later, and a lot of those have some great articles that you can read, and some videos if you, rather listen to somebody on YouTube. But if I come across any others, or if you do, please share them with the group and we can stay in touch about it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the biggest thing with social media is it's time consuming. It's important. It's hard to find time to do it. So I can't really talk about Instagram or social media without talking about, the need to stay consistent. So just as, a recommendation for, we know that posting every day is ideal, maybe not feasible. Setting a goal for you of, 5 posts a week or 1 post a week or whatever it is, identifying your goal and then planning ahead and maybe even batch creating your posts can be a really effective way to ensure you stay ahead of it and you're using your time efficiently. So I anytime I need to do something and use dedicated space, unfortunately, I need to leave the office where all my normal, responsibilities and distractors are, go somewhere like, a coffee shop or a local library or something like that. Take 3 hours, batch it out for the month and, come up with the topics, come up with the content, come up with the graphics, do all of that. Batching it is a really powerful way to stay ahead of it and to use your time again, like I said, efficiently. Because if we just are like every morning, like, what am I going to post today? Let me get some inspo. Let me write down. Let me open my journal. Like it could take up our entire day. And I'm sure we've all had days like that. We don't have time for that. So I highly recommend you batch it. And then use a scheduler. Like I just mentioned, that allows you to post it all. The scheduler then drops it. So that's going to happen. You don't have to feel the weight and the pressure of posting regularly because there's going to be that steady drumbeat from what you've batched and what you've scheduled. Now, given that, you also can always add spontaneous posts or impromptu content to it. That's ideal, but you'll feel a little bit more, inspiration to do that. You might be coming from a client visit or a share before and after that somebody sent you or a new testimonial you just got. And you can just complement what you've scheduled and then rotate topics. So I just dropped in the chat a document that I love referencing myself. It's really kind of like a recipe book for the types of posts that you could consider sharing, creating. So, we don't want to just every post is an ad, or every post is a testimonial, or every post is behind the scenes. We want to use social media as this free way to tell the full story of our brand, who we are, who we serve, what we sell, how people feel about our services, maybe even academic background, like statistics, everything. But sometimes we sit there and we get like writer's block around it. Like, what should I talk about today? So I use that document as a way to kind of show us like, you do one of each, and then you come around and you do another one of each. So here's like an abbreviated version you see here on this calendar view of like behind the scenes, product or service features, something light and funny, fun video or slideshow, spotlight your work or your partners or clients, kind of put the spotlight on them. So just an example of what you could do next week. But if you want a little more, you can use that PDF that I dropped in the chat and, just to get your wheels churning, even maybe use it as like a guide and jot down some notes. I've worked with clients where we've just spent like 2 hours together, mapped out 6 months of social media content. What are the campaigns you want to add in here for fun? What is the story you want to tell this time of year? Maybe you have some seasonal elements as part of your business, like Jenny sells signs we talked about. Well, they change with the season, as you can imagine. Lisa is a consultant working in the DI space. She works with a lot of educators. Clearly, that's going to be impacted by the time of year. So, you want to layer all those in when you're doing your content planning, and be creative, do things a little bit differently. Donna owns a garden center, so clearly that's very seasonal and very visual. So she has a lot of fun. It's Scenic Roots Garden Center. If you don't follow her already, she does a great job of putting herself on camera, telling the story. It's not just pretty flowers and plants, it's dirt. It's a background, it's an inspo. So, it's great to kind of tell that full story. But I know it's time consuming. And I don't have a solution to that. It's just, I always think about it as a great gift, though, that we don't have to take out you're welcome. We don't have to take out a billboard anymore to get in front of clients. We don't have to take out a magazine ad, although if we do, we highly recommend the Pink Chair Storytellers who were on the call earlier. You don't have to do that anymore. You can use social media, which is a free way to connect with people. So it might be time consuming, but just know that this isn't something that was available in the past that did require, a different kind of effort. So it really is a great opportunity for brands as well to continue that story.
Can I ask 2 questions, Susan?
Yes.
Sorry. When you talk about batching, I've tried to figure it out and I have come up with nothing trying to figure, because I know you can do that, but where's the best way to do that? Because I would love to figure it out, but I never got, and it was never able to do it. It always said I had to post it. So maybe I'm looking in the wrong place.
So how to batch it, you're saying?
Yeah, how to batch and schedule it. I would love to do that, and I have yet to figure out how to. I've tried, but I've kind of dead end.
So we at SHD Marketing provide social media marketing support for a lot of different companies. So here's how we plan it. We actually do it in kind of a variation of PowerPoint. So we create a graphic in Canva, even if it's a picture. Okay, Lisa's heading out. That's fine. If you need to go, I totally get it. We'll be wrapping up in about 2 minutes. You create the graphic in Canva, whether that's the photo or a stylized graphic. And then we write out all the content, like what's the post going to say, and including the hashtags. So we have that all in one place. And so it could be in PowerPoint. It could just be in Canva. Canva has a notes feature. So next to each image could be notes, and that could be where you put it. And then once you're ready to publish it, Canva has an embedded scheduler. I've never used it, but I know it's there. Meta has a scheduler that you can use. There's also Buffer, which is the one that we use. We pay for it. There's Later. There's a lot of schedulers out there. So you'll just want to choose one that you feel like is the right software, and then you would just load the image, load the content, choose which social media channels you want it to go to, which date and time you want it to go to. That's typically how it works.
All right, I tried Meta, but I couldn't figure it out, but I'll try again.
I don't think it's, oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, my second question is, are there better days? People are all on Facebook, Instagram being like, I will tell you the best day. No, I will tell you. Is there truly some validity to any of that?
Yes, but it's based on your data. So, within your insights, you could see the engagement based on day and time. If you haven't posted much, it won't give you any insights. But if you post a lot, it'll give you insights in terms of maybe, it's Friday at 8 p.m. Maybe it's Tuesday at 10 a.m. I typically think B2B, business to business is better during business hours, and B2C, business to consumers, is better, you know, during off times, but everybody's different. Your followers are different. We all have different followers. We all have different best times to post. So I would dig into your insights to see that. Also, when you do use a scheduling tool, sometimes there is enhanced analytics that you access that you can get a little bit more granular, that they can tell you about how your posts are performing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course. Okay, I'm going to fly right through these. I'm going to send these to you as an email. Super fun things, event reminders. I did that for today's, so people can click that they want a reminder. On Instagram, there's some, you know, lyrics that are fun to play with, polls and interactive stickers, quizzes, ways to do dual capture. So you're recording from the front and the back of your iPhone or whatever you're using, broadcast channels to share, you know, content to an exclusive group within your followers. A lot of cool new features that Instagram has rolled out. So, you know, hopefully your eyes caught something that you're maybe challenge yourself to explore. So before we wrap up, let's see what your score is now, how you feel about Instagram and what the trends are right now, and how you can engage with it and leverage it for your business. What score would you give yourself now? 7. Okay, great. 7 is solid, because I know you guys are not professional marketers in many cases. So I sure wouldn't give myself a 7 in your area of expertise. All right. Donna's at 8.5. We did it. Awesome. Well, thank you. My last slide is really just around questions. I know we've talked about some of them, but if there's others, I invite you to jump in. For those that need to go to move on to their next meeting, thank you for taking time to join us today. If you haven't worked with SHD marketing yet, we would love to support you in your brand. We do a lot of things, including social media marketing. We have a team of amazing people that know a lot more than I do. And, you know, invite you to reach out for a free consult if that's something that you're interested in. Great. Any other questions?
Susan, can you share this presentation with us via email?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Thank you. This was wonderful.
Oh, good. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for your thoughtful questions.
Thank you so
Great.
much,
Well,
Susan.
my pleasure. Thank you. And thank you for the inspiration. Sarah McKenzie, as I mentioned, is a Feng Shui interior designer and recommended some key components of Feng Shui here in our office. And we took her advice. You can see from the slide that you're looking at, there's a lot of blues in our brand, and we needed to bring water in. So we had a local artist, Renee McMurray, we're still finalizing it, paint a mural to help bring that in. And, you know, I always love supporting an artist versus a wallpaper manufacturer. So it's been really fun to see that come through. So thanks for noticing it, Sarah.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Thank you. Well, thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for spending an hour with me. Let me know if you have any other questions.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Susan.
Susan.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.